So I'm gathering my mise en place, my prep for banana bread. I have my sugar here, I'll set that aside. I have my flour, and then I'm going to get my small ingredients. I've scaled out my baking soda, and I'm going to measure my salt on top of it. The amount of salt is 3/8 of a teaspoon. I included 1/8 of a teaspoon in your kit when you came to pick it up. If you don't have one, oftentimes a standard tablespoon and teaspoon set does not include 1/8, which is why I gave you 1/8. So just to save a few containers, I'm going to measure the salt right on top of my soda, which I scaled. I need 3/8, so I could do the 1/8 3 times, or to save a little time and not make a mistake, I'm going to get 1/4, which is 2/8, and then an additional 1/8. So that's 3/8 of a teaspoon of salt. Likewise, the baking powder is also 1/8. I need 5/8 of a teaspoon of baking powder. So again, I could do 5 1/8 teaspoons, but it's faster for me to do a half a teaspoon. A half a teaspoon is equal to 4/8. So I want to make sure I get it very nice and level. 4/8, and then one more 1/8, which is 5/8. Okay. So I need to sift the dry ingredients. I have the flour here, and I just measured my salt, baking soda, and baking powder. So I'm going to pour that on top of the flour, and then I'm going to mix it in before I sift. This is really important because if I mix it, then when I sift, I'm ensured that my salt and leavening go throughout the dry ingredient, that everything is mixed really well. That way, when I incorporate the dry ingredients into the liquids into the dry ingredients, or the dry ingredients into the liquid, I know I won't have to mix very much in order to get a really good mix. So you don't need to do it this way. I use a sieve and a piece of plastic. This happened to come from a box of cereal. You can sift it into another bowl if you'd like, but you'll notice I'm really careful to break up any lumps and push through everything I can. I have a few grains of sugar here, or perhaps, salt probably, that didn't go through. So I don't want to throw those away. I'm going to put them into my mix. So one reason I like this method is it's quite easy to handle all the ingredients without creating too much of a mess. Okay, I'm ready to get my eggs, and if you look at the recipe, you need 3 ounces of eggs, which means I'm going to need 1 egg plus another part of an egg. So the way I'm going to do that is I put 1 whole egg in there. I'm going to crack an egg into a separate dish, and I'm going to beat that up. I want to make sure that when I scale an egg, I'm getting the whole egg, the white and the yolk. And if I don't beat it up ahead of time, I'll probably end up just getting the white, or maybe just the yolk will plop in there. So I would like to get 3 ounces total, and I'll save the rest of the egg. You could eat it, you could scramble it for breakfast, or you can use it in something else you're going to bake. So there I have 3 ounces of eggs. So that's ready to go. Okay, now I'm going to get my lemon juice. Now it's not very much lemon juice. You need 3/4 of a teaspoon, I believe. So you could just squeeze this. I did want to show you, this is one of your required tools. Obviously I'm not going to check now, but when we come back to the bake shop, we will need this reamer. The way this works is you insert it into the citrus and twist, and it helps you extract more juice. So obviously for this small amount, it's not as vital. You could just squeeze the lemon, but it does help you extract more juice. I need 3/4 of a teaspoon of juice, and I'm going to measure that into my mixing bowl. This is where I'm going to be scaling my banana. Well, I got lucky on that, exactly 3/4 of a teaspoon. And I'm going to be scaling my banana right on top of this lemon juice. Okay, I'm going to zero that out, and you can see that I have some very brown bananas. The best way to work with bananas for banana bread, you want them to have the most flavor possible. So I allow them to ripen at room temperature until they're mostly brown, and then I refrigerate them. They'll last in your refrigerator for several weeks. They will turn more brown, but the ripeness doesn't change. This is an example of the color of the banana when I put it into the refrigerator. So the color changed to all over brown, but the ripeness stayed the same.